Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, as we've got a very international crowd today. Oh, I just need to mute myself over here, otherwise you're going to hear me twice, which is no good. So today is all about Capture One Live, and I'm going to introduce my guest shortly. This is a nice, easy webinar for me because I don't have to do anything, so I like those, except for listen out for your questions. So for those of you on YouTube and Facebook, welcome. If you want to ask a question to myself or our guest Yaneck, please do so. We can see all the comments coming in. For those of you inside the webinar room, if you want to ask a question, just go to the Q&A tab. That's the one over on the right hand side. That just makes sure it's filtered through and kind of avoids mixing up into the chat. If you prefer a bit more space, then you can hit this button up on the right and that will hide the chat, and you can go full screen if you wish. So without further ado, let's go and find Yaneck in his studio. So hey Yaneck, how's it going?
Hello, Dave. Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
I'm super excited about today.
Yep. So you've got the perfect T-shirt for it. And perhaps before we start, you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as well.
Yeah, so my name is Yaneck. I'm originally from Poland. So if you wonder where my accent is from, that's the origin. I live currently in California. We moved here 5 years ago from Chicago. So we started our photography business back in Chicago, downtown. We had a studio. And I've been in business for 15 years now.
Okay.
And started with weddings long time ago, like right from the beginning. And about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like just before moving to California, we started the headshot business. So we had that, for 5-6 years now. And I switched to Capture One. How many years? I think it's going to be like 5 years now that I've used Capture One predominantly for all my studio and location work.
Excellent.
And then today we'll be talking about the new feature. Well, I guess it's still new.
It's fairly new. I'd say last year was when it started more as like a beta run, which people could test out. And then there's been a few iterations of updates and improvements, and still more to come as well in the not too distant future. So yeah, Capture One Live, the way to bring the I guess selection and editing experience out of the studio into an online environment.
Exactly. So I have like literally 7 slides, but that's super short, as you can see, even like one sentences. So I'm gonna I'll tell you what the key problem that I had that the Capture One Live helped me basically to solve was that let me see, go back to my slide here. Here it is. That the client photo selection, when we photograph multiple people, whether it's in the studio or it's on location, the problem was, how do we let the client select the photos that we want to retouch, if we include any retouch photos. If you give them all the photos and let them, enjoy all of them, that's a totally different situation. But when we photograph, whether in studio, a larger number of people, or on location, we usually include a specific number of retouch photos. Whether it's one is the most common, but some companies like 2 or 3 for more options. So it always was the issue or the challenge. How do I let my client select the photos without slowing down my whole process? So up to now, there were a few approaches, at least that I came up with, to accomplish this selection. So the first one, the easy one, basically after you photograph each person, they come to your computer or either on the monitor or your laptop, and you review the photos together. The disadvantage of it is basically it takes a long time because you have to wait, for the client selection before you move to the next person, or you can let them select the photos while you photograph the next person, but then you don't see any photos that are coming in for the current person that you photograph. The next one is sending the online gallery to the client. That's pretty much the worst option. The worst option, because you're gonna waste so much time exporting the photos, uploading to the gallery, sending to the client, waiting for them to make the selection. And also, you're going to make your client's life much more difficult because now they have to, collect the selections from all the people you photograph. So it's definitely not a good solution here. Now, the last two is export and share in the gallery. So basically, I export live as I photograph, and I have some kind of online gallery that that basically monitors a hot folder, and it just displays on a different device, whether it's iPad, laptop, etc., and they can just favorite their photos that they want, or export and share in another Capture One instance. That's something that I was doing before. Like this was actually my option that I went with. I had other instances of Capture One running on my other laptops, and basically I was exporting into a folder that the other Capture One instances were monitoring and basically displaying those photos on the other computers. The problem is, one, you have to export the photos, and two, you have to have a larger number of licenses for Capture One. I mean, for Capture One, it was good because I was paying more for extra licenses. But for us as photographers, really no need to spend that much money for additional instances. So basically now, the new solution that I put into my workflow is the Capture One Live, and there's some key advantages that kind of solve all the problems that I had before. So the first one is no need to export, right? We don't have to export anything. I'll show you just a few minutes how we do it, how the whole gallery is shared. Then the live views with instant preview. So basically, if you make adjustments on, let's say, exposure or anything else, the gallery or the Capture One Live gallery shows those changes right away. So it's really easy to adjust the photos and let the client see the good photo that they're going to be selecting. And then no need to sync photos. That's kind of like the problem. Kind of goes together with the exporting. So basically, they're in sync all the time. So whether you do a change on a gallery side or the live gallery or on Capture One, those things are in sync, automatically. And then accessible on any device. So we can use as many devices as we want. They're all getting in sync. I often, and I tell you just a second how I do it, but I often use my cell phone as just a tool to monitor what they select, and then we have multiple iPads, for our clients to make the selection. And the best part is only $10 a month for any number of live sessions. So so basically, it doesn't matter how many sessions you shoot per month. It's only $10. So if you run this as a business, I think it's a no-brainer. It saves me so much time photographing, whether it's 10, 15, 20 or more people, that just pays off itself really fast.
A question for you, Yaneck. Sorry. So there was a little behind the scenes on our Instagram channel today, which I suggest everyone go and have a look at because it was quite interesting. So if you're shooting like a large volume of people in a corporate atmosphere, you pretty much get them to select their shots like right there on a couple of iPads, kind of in the setup, correct? Yep.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So there's no messing around, straight to the selection. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll show you. Sasha, my wife Sasha was photographing yesterday in a studio, a group of 20 people. I was in Sacramento photographing another group of people. So basically, yeah. So let me switch this. Where's my mouse? Here it is. So basically, we have two iPads, here that we make the selection on. We, for like larger corporate events, or conferences, we actually have stands for these iPads that we got like on Amazon. So they're like basically kiosks with the iPads, and they select. So I think that's what you saw on the behind
that
the
was on the
today.
BTS today. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So basically, I bring those kiosks, and those kiosks on Amazon. I found them. If you're interested, you can email me, and I'll send you the link for this. But I think I was like, I don't know, maybe $60 or $80, something in that range. So actually, pretty good price for that.
Excellent.
Okay. Any other question, Dave? Okay, we can move forward to Capture One.
I think we're good, and we can move forward to Capture One. Yep, we can see the workflow in play.
Okay. So I did some. Let me just. So this is. Let me do. Yes.
There we
go.
go.
Basically, see me here, Capture One, bottom left, and then the browser is top right, top left.
Top left.
So right now this is my side, but we're gonna show how everything works.
Yeah.
So this is my Capture One layout. I mean, since Capture One is and maybe even better if we do it. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So now you can see better. So basically in Capture One, I mean, the way you set up everything it's pretty adjustable. So your Capture One may not look exactly the same as mine. I like to have my all the adjustments on the left and the strip of photos on the right. It just allows me to move faster. Kind of with my workflow because I make the adjustments and then when I select the photos on the right quickly. But it's up to you how you customize your Capture One. So that's totally up to you. Now the main thing is that you're gonna have the icon here on the top. I hope you can see it. I'm moving my mouse here.
Yep, the little Capture One live icon. Yep.
Yeah, and then if you don't see that icon, because sometimes like the last time I installed the app, sometimes it doesn't appear. So if you right-click on it and just customize your toolbar, the live icon will be here. Where was it?
Just by your mouse. There you go. In the middle.
Did I miss it? It's somewhere here. I know it's here because I added it. Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Here it is. Yeah. So basically, you can just click it and drag it into your toolbar, and basically it's going to be there. So that's the main icon that you're going to have because that's where you set up your live session. Okay. And so once you click on it, and I haven't made this session live yet. So this is really how it works. It's going to it takes a couple of seconds to load everything. So it shows me like what are my current live sessions. So these are like the sessions that I did recently. And now to start a new session, I go to my. Can you see okay, or should I make the Capture One screen bigger?
You can make Capture One screen bigger for now. Yeah, that would be good.
So let me. Where's my mouse? This. So I'll make it. Okay, so basically you're gonna select what you want to share and then how long you want to share. I leave it for 1 week, but you can make it just for 1 day or 2 weeks. It's up to you. And then when I work with a client, I would say majority of the time I share the capture folder. So and I work. Oh, by the way, I work with session here, so I don't work with a catalog. I always when I photograph clients, I work with sessions. So I'm sure there's plenty of videos, explaining the difference between a catalog in Capture One and a session. But when I photograph, the session is always session, and then the final selection, I move them to my master catalog. But that's just how I work with my sessions that I have either in the studio or on location. So I'm going to select capture folder, and I'm going to start sharing. And it's going to enable this, so it's kind of look up the photos. I think it's already, the link is already generated, but I want to make sure that, the previous, so it basically grab the first photo, my test photo today. So I'm going to copy the link, and then I'm going to go to my browser, and I'm just going to paste it.
And important to point out that, of course, you don't have to be on the same network. You don't have to be in the same room. Your client could be in a different state, in a different country, wherever. So it's a fully cloud-based service.
So you can see now it's just because I just initiated, so you can see all my test shots from this morning. So I was wearing a different T-shirt. So I started my day with a KMFDM T-shirt. I wonder if there are any fans of KMFDM today. Let me know in the comments.
We'll find out.
then I switched to my orange T-shirt. So I can see already. Dave, did you mark it as red?
Nope, that must be already in the session. So
maybe. Oh, you know what? Oh, it couldn't have started. Okay, let me.
Just hit resume. Should be fine.
Yeah. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So for example, if I so let me see. I look at the last photo here. Here it is. I think I mark it as red when I was pressing some keys here. So if I mark it as 5 stars here, I go back to my to Capture One, and it's 5 stars automatically. Let me see. Let me remove the video here.
There we go.
Okay, so you can see that the rating is already 5 stars.
Okay. And of course that's that's two-way as well. So of course if you make a rating.
If I don't agree with the client, I may say, no, you know what, there's going to be only 2 stars.
Yeah.
So if I go back to my browser, it's going to switch it to 2 stars shortly. So yeah, 2 stars now.
There we go.
So basically, so this is in a nutshell how we work with Capture One, making the selection. So so as I photograph, let's say I take 15, 20 or 30 photos, they are done. I don't have to go back into my computer and say like, you know what, let's review the photos together. I say like, I give them the iPad, or I just point them to the kiosk, and I just tell them, you know what, select the photos, or the photo that you really love, that to be a final photo. If you want to maybe make a temporary selection, so basically select either 3 stars or 2 stars, and in the gallery you can filter them out to compare them, and then the 5 star, that's the selection that you're going to make. And it's actually, I first initially I thought that this would be a pretty confusing process for people, just to 5-star photos. But actually, so far I've been using on a good number of sessions, and people are actually pretty understanding. I mean, I really don't have any problems explaining to mark the photo that you love with 5 stars. And of course, if you have multiple photos that they included, they just tell them include 2 or 3 photos with 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a question from
the main thing, and then yes, Dave.
Yeah, sorry. Question from Brandon. Brandon was asking, when people are selecting their images, are they able to see other people's from the shoot also when doing large groups? I mean, how do you handle that? Is that really been an issue or not?
If you that's a great question. If you have a large number of people, and you don't want to basically constantly refresh the photos as you photograph them, there are 2 ways to do it. The first way is to filter on the client. So like when I go on my client, the gallery. So let me show you here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I switch to gallery, so one of the cool things here that you can filter, right? So if I only want 5 stars or any other rating, what I do, I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically now I display all the photos except 0 stars. Right. So as I photograph, so let's say I'm in Capture One now. So let me go back to this view. Actually, let's do this one. So I'm gonna go and take another selfie. Just want to make sure that my camera is still alive here. Here it is. Here it is. I'm gonna.
It hasn't fallen asleep yet. We're good.
If I need to switch to Capture One, sorry. I need to be in the Capture One in order to my shortcut to accept now, because it's been a while, a few minutes. I'm going to have to restart my trigger on my Westcott trigger here because they like to go to sleep.
You need a few assistants with you today, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so basically, I'm going to take a selfie. Here it is. Okay. Perfect. So that's my selfie. Okay. Let's do a few of these. So. Okay.
Superstar.
And by the way, if you wonder how I do it, I have the Logitech mouse with some custom buttons. This is the MX Master 3 mouse. And I basically programmed one of the little buttons on the side to be Control K, which is the capture release in Capture One.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I just have a shortcut assigned to that button. So when I go to take a selfie, I just press the mouse button on the side, and then I take a selfie. So that's my fancy trigger, with a mouse. Okay, so let's go. So now these are you see like the last few photos. Those are the ones that I just photographed, and you can see that in Capture One Live Gallery, they're still not there, right? So with this approach, what I do, I just mark whatever photo. Let's say I want to include this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I want to omit these two here, and I'll mark them with 1 star. So automatically you can see that the 1 star is appearing here. They start appearing in the online gallery. I mean the Capture One Live gallery,
Nice.
right? So this way I basically filter the photos that they see in the live gallery.
So if there's
That's
any
kind of
like bad exposures or blinks or
Exactly.
whatever, then
or
they
even
don't,
like
they don't see
so
that.
basically it's also preventing of the constant live feed as I photograph, right? Because it may be frustrating, to people, when you have a really large number of people. Now, so that's one way to do it. The disadvantage of this approach is that if people start to play with filters in the Capture One Live gallery, they may go back to 0 and then go to start to see, the live feed again. And this may need some work from the assistant to basically go back to just show all the rating except 0 stars.
Right.
Now the second option is that instead of selecting the capture folder for the Capture One Live, you select the select folder, and instead of just marking them with 1 star. So if you're familiar with the Capture One session, so let me make the Capture One bigger here. So you have this the capture folder, you have the select folder, output folder, trash. So I also added the shortcut on my toolbar here, move to select. So if you share the select folder in the Capture One Live, and I basically, when I'm done with a person, I move all their photos to the select folder. So for example, let's say these are the 2 that I want to move to the select folder. I just click the button, and then it's going to ask me, yep. And then, so now if I go to select folder, these are the 2 that I have, okay? And the cool thing is, now, if I press Capture One Live, again, I can actually have multiple live sessions from, for what I'm doing right now. So I can, I have a capture folder selected. Now I'm going to select my select folder, start sharing. So if I copy the link, and I go back to my Chrome, and I select the second link, you're going to see only the 2 photos that are in my select folder, right? So that's a kind of a cool feature that the Capture One Live is not just sharing everything from what you're photographing. You can specify which folder. You can create a custom collection and just share that collection in your Capture One gallery.
Yeah, we've got a question on that, which I'm going to come to in a second. Before we do that, Brandon, which I can answer this one, Yaneck, he was asking, Brandon Elliott, are annotations notes feature going to be added to Capture One Live for images? So a client or photographer could leave a note. Yes, that is coming. It's not too far off. I know it's being tested at the moment. So yes, Brandon, that will come. And Dr. Shaquille was asking, if I share my work with my clients, can they download or only review it? There is no download option, is there, Yaneck? So
no, there's no. Yeah, right now there's no download. So basically, the way my workflow works, they make the selection. I send those photos to my retoucher. They retouch them, and then I send them back to the client, whether individually or my main contact person. I send those photos, retouched. But yeah, I work. The way I operate is I don't let people have unretouched photos unless I'm doing a super high volume at the conference. Then they can share those photos, right away through either email or text. But I use a different application for that. This is more for business corporate gigs where you're working with a large number of people and you want to make the selection fast. So whether it's I usually start it like at around 10 people. For 5 people, if they come to my studio, I can still do the selection with them. But for 10 plus, whether it's 20, 100, next week we're actually photographing 500 people
wow.
at the business meeting. So we're going to be using 2 stations with 2 live sessions
Right.
So yeah, so in this situation, we're going to be using definitely Capture One Live, and they're not going to be downloading those photos for sure.
No, and if you're worried, you can. It's. I'll be totally open. It is a little bit cumbersome at the moment. You can add a watermark to the shots if you wish. So it was something you would have to add to the photo using Capture One's watermarking tools before you start the live session. So if you wanted to prevent people downloading, but we are also going to improve that process as well, because we have had the feedback, like you've just said, Dr. Shaquille, that some people are concerned about over-enthusiastic clients just suddenly screen grabbing or downloading the photos when they haven't been retouched, and so on and so forth. So just going to throw a couple of other questions at you, Yaneck, because they're probably, I won't be able to answer them. John was asking, when doing large numbers of people in a single day, do you create a separate folder for each person for privacy, or do they all go to a master folder?
No, so I don't create a separate a separate folder. What I do is basically it's a feature. I mean, it's a cool thing that I learned from my friend and also awesome headshot photographer Gary Hughes. That when I name people, so when people register, right, and there's like a whole spreadsheet of of entries. I basically go to the spreadsheet. I use a jot form for my forms when people register, like if they come in, or I use either Calendly or Acuity for people to register ahead of time. If I do like the custom scheduling. So either system, whether you use the jot form or you use the Calendly or Acuity, there's an option to sync those entries with Excel. I mean, with the Google Sheets. So from that Google Sheets, I copy just the name of, last name, first name. And then when I name my camera, the file as they come in, one of the cool tokens that you have in Capture One is the clipboard content.
Right.
So is this one here, clipboard content. So basically, I drag it to my name, to the file name. So for example, I can just do a dash here. So now, whatever I have in my clipboard content. So let's show this just for sake of where are my notes? Here they are. So let me create a new note here. So if I say Vasek Yaneck, okay, and I do select all, copy, okay. So now if I go to my capture folder and if I take my mouse, I take a photo, and you can see that the file is automatically named with my name.
Nice.
So that's basically what I do with larger number of people when I photograph.
Excellent. Cool. But you haven't had too many issues with privacy of people seeing anyone else's photos, or it's not something that you come across a lot?
No, I mean, at conferences, obviously people is just all global, so they often. Oh, my camera went.
Yeah. Go and give it a kick. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, in conferences, people are seeing each other all the time, so they don't have, I never had any concern. If somebody has a concern, they basically don't have to take a headshot with me, because those headshots usually are prepaid by either the organization that puts together the conference, or by the company that has the booth where I am doing the headshots. So if anybody has a concern, basically they don't take the headshots, with us. At the companies, business, when I do for a corporation or a large business, that's usually mandated by the company to take headshots. So usually they basically follow what the company tells them. So I mean, I'm sure there will be some exceptions, and I'm sure there will be somebody complaining about seeing other people's photos. But so far, I haven't experienced that.
Okay, good to know. Couple of questions here which I can probably answer. Good one actually from Snap Spencer. Is there ability to see which customer has selected which stars, like an audit history? I mean, there isn't, but that's actually not a bad idea, and it has something which it has crossed our minds as well, in terms of, like, certainly because I think Spencer, you asked about commenting. No, it was Brandon. Sorry, Brandon, you asked about commenting. So some kind of paper trail about who said what. I think could be interesting as well, certainly for bigger shoots. But it's not possible right now. But comments noted. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the history would be really, really helpful, to see what the rating is. One thing that, I mentioned before to kind of monitor, people's selection is when I go to gallery, I can go to my filters now and then do 5 stars.
Yep.
So far, I don't have any 5 stars, right?
No.
But let's say that I do this 5 stars and I do this 5 stars. And so now if I click, 1 second. I need to, because I think they're painting my building. I may need to move my car quickly. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I will talk amongst myself and answer some questions. Okay, so yes. James was asking. Hang on, I'll just mute Yaneck for a second. James was asking, or was it Jack? Sorry, if you're photographing, let's say 10 people, and you start a new session per person. And if so, how do you update the live stream for every session? So you can have multiple Capture on Live sessions. There's a limit, but it's so enormous, I don't think you would ever hit it. So if you wanted a different Capture on Live session for each person, you could do so. One way to do that would be to separate out people into different folders, and then you could just share like David's folder, and then you could give me the Capture on Live link, which would be unique to me. You are in control of how long the session lasts for as well. So if you want to cut the session at any point, you can do so. You can choose currently up to 2 weeks. We will probably expand that as well. Probably no surprises there if you need to. Oh, Yaneck's back. Hang on, Yaneck. I just had you muted for a second. We were just chatting about, we were talking about if you had multiple live sessions, then there's nothing to stop you putting different people in different folders and having a Capture on Live link for each of those as well, if you needed to.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. It's just, overall, and of course, you can customize your workflow, as much as you want. For me, here was developing a workflow that speeds me up, that makes things more efficient and not adding additional steps. But of course, you can create folders and you can put those photos into each person's folder and then start the online sharing for each person. So definitely, but it's going to be a little bit more time consuming.
Yeah. Interesting question from James, actually. If a client is viewing the images on a display or monitor that is not calibrated to the same setting as a photographer, sometimes could their comments or concerns be justified? But I guess for a lot of people, you're getting them to choose in the moment before they leave the studio. But I guess, do you have situations where you're sharing the link and they're looking at it on their own system?
You know what? The 4 devices that I usually share the photos on are the 2 iPads and then 2 Microsoft Surfaces Pro laptops. And yeah, there'll be some variation, from one screen to another one, but that's just part of the web, right? I mean, when you give headshots to somebody and they post it on LinkedIn or anywhere, those photos will be viewed on so many different devices that yes, there will be always some variation of colors because not everybody has a calibrated monitor.
No, but I guess you can give some instruction like, these are your pictures, please judge them based on your expression.
Yes,
that kind of stuff, and then let me worry about retouching, fixing.
So yeah, if it's a smaller group, I address these concerns right away. Like like say, I have this flyway here. Is it I said like, don't worry about it. Anything like hair or anything like that because we can fix it. Or like like some imperfection on your skin. It's more about the expression. If you like the expression, then we can work work everything else on the photo.
Fix. Can you jump back to the Capture on Live view for a second? Because someone was asking, can you enlarge? So right now we've only seen the thumbnail view, but it would be nice to see.
Sorry.
Yeah, the slightly bigger view as well in Capture on Live.
Are you in the gallery or live?
In the gallery? Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. In the browser.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me see here. Yeah. So basically, So once you have these photos, you can click on these, and the good thing is that before in the previous version, you have to click on the buttons to go from from one photo to another one. Right now, the arrows actually work so well, so you can go through from photo to photo very nicely.
Yep.
And the shortcuts for the for rating. So if you press 5, it's gonna mark it as 5 stars.
Yep.
So that's
And you can use QWERTY for the color tags. I think it's QWERTY.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to put up a little instruction, use cursor keys, use these buttons for color, then you can also do that. There's been a couple of questions about where are the pictures. So they are basically when you kick off a Capture One live session, Capture One will process out and upload a preview for each of the shots. So it's not a raw file, so the entire raw file isn't being uploaded. It's very efficient. So someone was asking, like on a 4G or 5G mobile hotspot, you would be absolutely fine. It's a very lightweight file.
I've ran this on my cell phone hotspot, and that worked perfectly.
Yeah, and you can see how quick the upload is as well. It's not big, meaty
it's
files
like,
as
if
well.
if I go to Capture One, let me actually go back to the screen. Give me 1 second. So let's do this.
That
so
was Hayes' question about enlarging. Yep.
And then let me just remove. So I'm gonna go to my session with. This is select. This is the capture. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm gonna remove the filters so that we'll see those photos as they go. So now let me go back to my Capture One. Okay, so let's do 10 photos.
Yeah.
So,
your LinkedIn profile has never had so many choices, right?
so you can see how fast those photos,
Yeah.
basically, and I have the filter here, so you can't see in Capture One, but yeah, that's basically already here.
Yeah, so, they're coming in almost instantaneously, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
So you can, if you want to use this as a vehicle, there was a question earlier about, can I use this as a second monitor? You could, if you had an iPad near your capture station. That would be one way. There's also an iOS application called Capture Pilot, which does a similar thing, but this is just a simple browser, which you could use on any device that can connect to the internet. So yes, you could use it as a different monitor if you wish.
And then you can see that the last photo here, it's just not everything fired.
Yeah.
Right. So I can delete it.
Yeah.
And you can see that file got deleted from the Capture One live gallery as well.
Yeah. Straight away.
So it syncs whatever you have in that folder pretty fast.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just checking for other questions again.
And I tested this gallery with well over 1,500 photos, and it worked. It works fine.
Yeah. So it's been stress tested quite heavily. I can't remember the exact number, but since launching, over 1 million images have gone through it with, bulletproof stability. We haven't had any server outages or issues or anything, so it's working really nicely. Jason, not Jason, Jerome, I need better eyesight, was asking about for clients stealing the pictures. If you missed it, Jerome, you can add a watermark if you wish, and it's not the full resolution RAW file, so yes, of course, they could stick it on their LinkedIn or something, but there is also the ability to add a password. So if you do want to password protect it, you can add that in too. So there is that extra level of security.
Dave, so like when you go live, this is the last field.
Yeah.
Here is the password, so you can make it password protected.
Yeah, exactly. If it's critical. David Fraser was asking, can you share a virtual collection, which you can't currently? So I think what you mean, David, is if you made like a smart album that was 5-star only. No, that's not possible currently. There's various boring technical reasons behind that. But so far, it hasn't come up a lot. I think as you've shown, Yaneck, there's ways to control, what's in the Capture One live session. It's dynamic. So as you just showed, if you deleted something, then it disappears immediately. You can set up the filters on Capture One live as well, of course. Yeah. Oh, my colleague Matthew has just said 6 million photos through live as of today. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Spiros was asking, is broadband fiber capacity an issue? No, as you said, you've done this through a 4G hotspot. and it's no problem at all. It's very lightweight data going up, so you don't require gigabit connection for this to work.
Oh, something.
Yeah, sorry, lots of questions. William was asking, I have to distribute headshots. This is a good industry question for you. I have to distribute headshots directly to conference attendees, and I'm still looking for the most efficient way to input each person's name and email address when I don't have a list of fixed 1,000 attendees. Oops, we lost Yaneck briefly. I think you're still there, Yaneck. Hang on. Yaneck, you still there? Yes.
I lost audio. I don't know what happened.
Okay. I can still hear you. Let's see. Try, hang on, let me just give Yaneck a little chat message. Try calling back. Let's see. See if he picks that up. Is it me? We can still, whoops. Sorry, we can still.
Can you guys hear me, or is it?
Yeah,
or
we
no?
can. Yep, we can still hear you. Yeah.
So I can just. So Dave, I cannot hear you for some reason.
Let's say, we just say hang up.
I hear you now.
You can. Okay, that was weird.
Okay.
A little, but it's because we started talking.
For some reason, my laptop got muted.
That's strange. I think because we started talking about the internet was mad with us or something. So the question William was asking was like a good efficient way to collect names and email addresses of everybody, like at a conference, if you don't have that information beforehand.
Yeah, so I believe I mentioned it before, but yeah, we used to use Google Forms before.
Right.
And Google Forms, connects to Sheets, to Google Sheets as well. So Google Forms is free. It works pretty well. There's some limitation, what you can do with the form. And then I started to use JOT form, JOT form. And those are much more advanced forms. They look prettier. And you can have hidden fields in the form, which are basically calculated. So when I add last name dash first name, it's a hidden field that automatically is listed in my Google Sheet. So when I copy paste, I already have the last name dash first name set up.
Cool. Very smart. So, okay, let me just making sure I hadn't missed any question. Cameron was asking, oh, hi Cameron, seems very fast with Canon mirrorless. Is there any delay when shooting with Fujifilm GFX 100S or Phase 150? There shouldn't be, because we're sending the same, if you like, lightweight file up to Capture One Live. So the only difference would be, Cameron, is that when you're shooting tethered, it might be a little bit slower for the picture to pop up in Capture One, but I'm talking milliseconds here, really, to be honest. So I don't think you're going to have really much of an issue in that respect. I've shot tethered with the GFX 100, actually using Capture One Live as well, and it was pretty snappy, to be honest. Henning was asking, is there some kind of status bar showing when the upload is done? Yeah, so Yaneck, can you just bring up Capture One Live in Capture One for a second? So a few people have asked this, and I think they're surprised at how quick it is. But basically, when you start a Capture One Live session, you'll see those progress bars on each one. And basically, when you hit the start sharing button, as soon as that progress bar is finished, then you're good to go. So you don't have to wait for hours and hours and hours for the upload. It is lightweight and it is pretty quick. Oh, you need to switch your browser, Yaneck. We're seeing the chat. Yeah. Well, not the chat, but the.
There it is.
There we go. That's it. Yeah.
So basically, when once you start, taking a photo, I mean, here, on the screen itself, you're not gonna see it. Once you the progress bar is only on an initial start.
Yeah.
Once it's going now, there's no progress, because it's basically, close to instant. How fast you're getting those photos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think we managed to pick up those questions. There was a couple of things on subscriptions, as Yaneck said, it's basically $10 a month. Your currency might vary a little bit. There's no minimum contract, so if you want to subscribe for a month and then cancel it, which I hope you don't, but you can do so. But there is no yearly plan or anything like that. That was Jack who was asking that, I think. So currently it's just a Netflix model, if I'm allowed to say that, where you can buy a month and then cancel at will. Okay, I think I picked up most of the questions. A lot came in. So normally I have a wingman helping me with these, but he's in Italy today, so it's just me. So if I did miss a question, I do apologize. But I think, Yaneck, I'm just trying to think if there's
just one note,
anything.
for anybody that is interested, in terms of the setup. So normally when I photograph in a studio, I use the LED panels from Westco, the Cineflex. But I wanted to, I don't take them outside my studio because they require the room to be very dark, and otherwise we have some kind of light pollution in the photos.
Right.
So this is the strobes. I always take them on location. So I wanted to show you how I do it on location with the strobes versus the LED panels, and then for the video here, the contrast between the light of the LED panels versus me talking was so big.
So super bright. Very important question from Snap Spencer. Does Capture One have to be open for the customer to make selections? No. So you can actually quit Capture One if you want, Yaneck, and then whack a couple of
if your computer, for example, goes to sleep, or for whatever reason you have to reboot your computer, anything else, the iPads still work. They can still make the selection, and it's stored in the cloud. And then when you restart Capture One and you resume sharing, there's basically going to resync the rating and whatever changes were made in the Capture One Live Gallery.
Yeah, especially if your client needs a few days to review or whatever, then you can do so. So basically, it's just quick Capture One. The client, the Capture One live session just keeps going to them. They actually have no idea whether Capture One is running or not. It's not important to them. They can make their star ratings color tags, and then when you open up Capture One again with that session, it will just sync up and then download the ratings. But it's instant because we're not sending tons of data. It's just literally basic text data saying this picture is 4 stars with a red tag and so on. So it doesn't have to be open, and that's, I'm glad you asked that, Spencer, because it's something I take for granted that, no, this is not like an in-the-moment process, or it can be an in-the-moment process, but it doesn't have to be, which is why the Capture One Live link, is open for up to 2 weeks. And as I said, you can stop that at any point as well. James was asking, can you show one more time, Yaneck, just the step in Capture One? So if you make Capture One big for us, and just show us how to start a Capture One live session. It's super simple, really.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna create a new session in Capture One. And the way I always name my session with the date first, and I do year, month, date so that they sort properly. And let's say, I always name with my client name. So this would be C1 Live Demo. Okay. And then under caption name, I put a dash so that, the number of the frame or the photo number will be after dash. And I don't want to put the dashes in the session name. Otherwise, I leave everything the same here. So this is blank session. Okay, now I may take, I'm going to take one photo, just a test photo here.
Best smile.
Okay. So it's transferred. Okay. Then what I do, I go to I have my presets here. I have my Wasio strobe. And depending on the flash, you can see there's some kind of purplish bluish thing. So I just go to my advanced, I do sample, and you can see that kind of purple green. I like it to to remove it now. If some this is just for the viewing, because if there's an issue with somebody wearing something blue and or actually you don't see it because my screen is here. So make me smaller. So here it is. Yeah. So basically, what I did here, I sampled the color from the background and I desaturated, almost completely. I don't go full because then I want some color there, so there's not like artificial gray, and then I only have one light on the background. So I'll show you if I want. And this is my group D there. So if I want to make it a little bit brighter, so right now, oops, I need to be back in Capture One. Sorry. Here it is. Where's my mouse working? Or where am I? Why is it not triggering my thingies? Oh, my camera is
camera's asleep.
Oh yeah, camera went to sleep.
It's been a while since you took a picture.
Oh, you know why? Oh, my battery's dying. Let me just quickly change the battery.
While you're doing that, I will answer a question.
Common studio problems, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
people, while you do that, Yaneck, Corey was just asking, and a few others, can I find the replay for this? And yes, this is also going out to YouTube at the same time. So as soon as we're done, you can just go to Capture One on YouTube, and then you'll find it there. Okay, go for it, Yaneck.
Okay, making sure the camera's recognized. Will it be recognized? Of course, when I do it, it doesn't want to be recognized. Give me 1 second.
What are you shooting with? Canon R5?
R5, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it not?
Turn it off and on again. The traditional fix it all.
Oh, here it is. Okay,
there it
it's
is.
now in.
Yep.
Okay, put it back in a tripod. Now I should be able to take my shot. Here it is.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, you know what? That's what happened with the RF lenses. When you turn off the camera, even though in manual focus,
yep,
it resets the focus ring.
Really? That's frustrating.
Yeah, so basically I put a light stand.
Yeah.
I need to refocus because with the 1 second. What's going on here? Here it is. I'm gonna focus again. Because I said, with my little trick with the mouse, it doesn't recognize the face, so it doesn't focus it. So I have to pre-focus on anything, and then is my camera now going to be connected properly or not?
said we did definitely
beauty of technology every single time, right?
Yeah. You definitely needed an assistant for this session, so we need to give Yaneck a big round of applause at the end for doing all this himself. Did you put the dud battery back in? While Yaneck is. Okay. There we go.
Okay. 200. Was I shooting at high speed sync? No, I was not. Okay, good. So let's try one more time. Here it is.
Perfect.
Oh, it's the camera again. Fantastic.
Well, at least everyone knows now that this isn't pre-recorded and we're doing it live.
There it is. Okay, now I should work. Yeah, there's one other thing that, the difference between the RF lenses and EF lenses, that the RF lenses resets its focus, at least the 85 that I have, when I turn it on. Okay, so you can see these two. So I just added a little bit more light to the background, so make it a little bit more medium gray. So that's how I do it. So now let's go back to Capture One Live.
Yep.
So starting here.
So up on the toolbar.
It's bringing the currently live session that I already have.
Yeah.
So that's why it's taking a little bit longer. So, but you can select the capture folder or whatever folder you want.
Right. Or you can make an album if you want to. Bring a bunch of different folders together. Yeah.
And then you select the duration of it. Default is 1 week, but you can have it just for 1 day. And then start sharing. It's already sharing, so I just copy link. I go to my Chrome.
And away you go. So
And
that
here we
was
are.
James who was asking that.
Even with the 2 blurry photos. So.
Yes. Oh.
So now if I go back to capture 1,
Yep.
I don't like my blurry photos. I'm going to delete them.
Yep.
If you go back, they're already gone.
Yeah, they're gone. While you're in Capture On Live, just open up one of those shots, full screen. Go back to the gallery view. My fault. So up in the top right hand corner, there's a button called Follow, and that's if somebody wants to actually follow the shoot that Yaneck's doing. It basically means every time Yaneck takes a picture or edits a photo, the display or the viewer will switch to that. So it does mean if you've got a client who wants to monitor what you're doing, then it will just follow along.
Let's do, here it is. Okay, so now if I move to my capture 1,
let's just
if I move to this photo, should switch it, no, Dave?
If you edit it or crop it or something like that.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
I don't use that feature, so yeah. So this is So
like so.
Here it is. Okay, so switch it now. Yep.
And if you're shooting tethered, then it'll follow along as well. So for your workflow, it's not something, as you say, it doesn't make sense. But for other people who are like shooting tethered and the client wants to see what's going on as they do it and direct, then that works nicely. So, okay, I think, let me just check chat in there. Jason says, this looks a lot like me in the studio. I feel better now. And just to clarify, it was Nancy was asking, you're shooting straight to the laptop? Yes, so you're not going via the card or anything like that when you shoot.
No card. And actually, when you tether with Canon, at least the R5, I haven't tested fully with R6. If the memory card is in the camera, sometimes the tethering or the connection and the tethering speed, I saw some slowdown. So it's much better to not have any memory card in your R5 or R6 cameras.
Yeah, there's a weird thing with Mac OS X. I don't think it's the case on Windows, but on OS X, when you have a card in the camera and you hook up the camera, the OS immediately tries to index the card that's in the camera, and if there's too many pictures on it, then it will time out. So if you're shooting tethered, just take out the take out the card. Yeah, cool. Okay, I think we have exhausted people's questions pretty much. Captain Jack says this is an excellent live stream. I feel like I'm not the only one with failures. Learning much, thanks. As I said, it's live when cameras disconnect. Look, it's still perfectly connected now, of course, now that we're not doing anything, but there we go. So I'm just going to move my camera up a bit, just so people can locate you. Just below me down here, I'm just pointing out your Instagram link. So it's Wasio, isn't it? If I pronounce that.
So I have 2 Instagram accounts, right? This one is Wasio, so WSIO, and then for my headshots, it's Wasio_faces.
Faces.
So one is the Wasio is basically everything except headshots, and then Wasio faces is my headshot. And then if you guys want to email me with any questions, if you have in the future, let me see, where's my, here it is. So in the bottom, I hope you can see it, but it's info@wasio.com. If you want to email me with any questions you have, I'm always happy to help.
Nice. Very, very generous of you. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's exactly bang on 60 minutes. So we've nailed
Yes, it is.
nailed the timing there. So just to let people know, as I said, this is going straight to YouTube as well. So if you want to watch the replay again, just head over to our YouTube channel. You can find it there. We know how to locate Yaneck with his information just below me. So give him a thanks and a shout out for spending his time in the early morning in Orange County to do this. If you want to find out about Capture One Live, I should probably just put my sales hat on for a second and just send everybody a link to, hang on a second, I just need to find it. And the way you get Capture One Live, I should say, is basically, if you log into your account at captureone.com, find your license key, and you'll see a little button there which you can basically add live to that license key. Then I'm just going to put the same in here to everyone else. It's basically captureone.com/live, funnily enough. So, and then you'll be able to find that. But if you want to add it to your account, it's literally log in, find your license key, and you'll see a little blue button next to that. And actually in Capture One as well, I'm pretty sure you'll see a little blue button next to that live tool to add it to your account as well. So $10 a month, month-to-month billing.
Oh, yeah, Dave, I think you forgot to mention that when you sign up first, I think you have, is it 5 sessions free? Or
yeah, exactly. When you first, if you're not on Capture One, someone was asking which version of Capture One do I need. The current version is Capture One 22. The release number is 15.2. Oh, your camera went to sleep, Yaneck. Yeah. Is 15.2. It was available from 15.1, I believe. Memory escapes me. But the current release is 15.2. So grab that. And then you'll get 5 free sessions that you can mess around in and give it a try as well if you want to test it out. So there we go. So thanks again, Yaneck, for spending your time with us. If we failed to answer any of your questions, just hit us up on social media if you have any other questions. Go and update your Capture Ones and give Capture One Live a try as well. So thanks again, Yaneck.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us.
A pleasure. Thanks again. Bye now.
Bye-bye.